welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me. Now, I know this is unusual because we're not going to the theaters and I'm not giving you a lot of advance notice before movies go to streaming. I'm trying, but I'm so grateful that these movie studios are choosing to take their movies straight to streaming so that all of us can watch them rather than wait who knows how long before they actually go to theaters and before we're able to go out into theaters. So normally I would tell you, go run out to the movie theater, but today I'm going to tell you to scroll down below in the description and click on the link to take you to that movie so you can watch it online on streaming. And it doesn't cost you any more, but it helps me with my channel a little bit, and I truly appreciate that. Okay, so today the movie that I'm reviewing is called Resistance. This movie is rated R. It's 2 hours long, and the movie review mom grade that I'm going to give it is a B. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you things I liked, didn't like, as well as tips for parents and some themes that are worth talking about with your family or your friends or whoever you're seeing the movie with while you're quarantined in home. Okay, so in a quick nutshell, the movie takes place during World War II, and so many amazing movies have actually been filmed about this time period in history because there are so many acts of heroism and drama. So this is the true story of pantomime, the famous pantomime performer Marcel Marceau, and how he and his resistance saved 10,000 children, Jewish children, during World War II. It's amazing. I remember being a little girl and watching old video clips of him, and there was kind of a sadness about him, and now I understand why. And it was also a dying art when I was a little girl. There weren't new pantomimers coming out necessarily, and yet he was such a great artist, and he has actually been called the greatest mime of all time. And I can see why now, not only for his artistry, but also for what he personally did. It's truly amazing and impressive. And while this movie isn't the greatest movie in the world, it does tell a really interesting story, and an inspiring one at that, and one that needed to be told because what an incredible man, and how that story could have been lost. Now it's exposed to the world to enjoy and learn from and be inspired by. Marcel Marceau believed in the art of silence, and silence can be a weapon too. And what this movie points out is not all wars are fought by soldiers alone. Now, some tips for parents. Some people get shot and treated very brutally. There is some violence. There is a discussion of a young girl's first period. A man gets beaten. Another man gets caught on fire, and there are some other displays of brutality as well as talk of torture. Thankfully, we don't have to see the torture. We know it's happening, and that's all. I love the art of subtlety. A director doesn't have to just all show you all the blood and guts for it to be effective. In fact, I almost think it's more effective if I don't see it. A man and woman are seen in bed together and kissing, so you know what's happening. And then there's, of course, a ton of orphans. And so talk to your kids if they see this movie, if you think that it's appropriate for them, about how grateful you are that you get to be together as a family. Some really powerful themes of the movie are hope, heroism, and faith and courage. Now, some things that I really liked about the movie are, first of all, I didn't know that much about Marcel Marceau. Like I said, as a little girl, I knew of him, but I had no idea that he was such a hero during World War II and the Holocaust. I knew he was French, with the name and everything, which turns out was not his actual name. And so I really enjoyed learning about him. There is some real footage of World War II, which is always interesting and helps to really envelop you into that time period. Can you imagine how frightening and confusing it must have been to be a child during the Holocaust and World War II? And the children do a really good job in the movie, and one in particular is Bella Ramsey. She kind of plays plays the lead orphan, and she does a really good job. And to me, I think she's going to be memorable just because of her performance and some of the things that happened to her. Now, it's nothing like the movie Schindler's List, where there's a girl with a red coat that's forever embedded in my head, and that was so powerful. So it's not quite to that level, but again, I thought it was pretty good. French actress Clémence Boice. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but I thought she was really mesmerizing to watch. I really enjoyed her performance, and I thought she was very well cast. And you might recognize her from her role in the movie In Bruges or in her TV series The Tunnel. And another actor I thought who did a really good job was Matthias Schweighofer. Matthias Schweighofer. I probably butchered that name. He was quite a butcher. That wasn't an intended word choice there, but he did a very good job as the very demented, evil Klaus Barbie. I thought the set pieces were good. I thought the lighting was really good and effective. And here are a few things that I didn't like. And it pains me to say this, but I adore Jesse Eisenberg. I really enjoy his performance in almost every other movie that I've seen him in, but in this movie, he just seemed a little miscast. His French accent was just off, and he's known for being a real quick talker, which is a real fun, charming style, and perfect for a lot of movies that he's in. But in this particular role as a pantomime artist, it didn't quite work. And he was a little bit stiff for a mime. Usually they're very, very fluid. And he tried. He really gave a valiant effort, really. And I thought he was good. He just didn't blow me away with his performance. And I kept thinking, who would be better in this? And that's not good when the whole time you're thinking, who would I have cast in this role instead? But he did try. You could tell he tried really hard, and I still really do like him. The script isn't quite as compelling as it could have been, and in fact, it's pretty formulaic. We've seen this kind of style or this kind of story told in this manner. So it's a lovely tribute to Marcel Marceau, and he definitely deserves a tribute movie, but it just could have really gripped you even more. And then many critics have complained that the tone is uneven. And that's partly true. I don't know that it bothered me as much as it bothered other people, but I think of another movie of World War II era that was very uneven and I loved it was the movie Life is Beautiful. I don't know if you've seen that, but put that one on your list. It is powerful and it changes. It's like you're watching two different movies. And I wouldn't say that this movie has such a stark contrast. Of course, in that movie, it worked really well. Anyway, you have to see that movie. That's fantastic. And of course, Schindler's List, like I mentioned as well. Now, a surprise is Ed Harris makes a little cameo at the very beginning and at the very end. And I'll share a line that he says that I think is really good. And this is kind of the theme of the whole movie. He says, "Courage is no more than fear holding on a minute longer." And it's amazing to see what the everyday citizen did during World War II to try to combat evil, to try to save their family and loved ones and friends as well. And how so many countless brave men and women risked their lives to do what was right. Oh, and I'll share another line with you. This is spoken by another character, and she says, she's talking to a Jewish man, and she says, "No symbol is more dangerous for oppressors than Jews because Jews are emancipated slaves." Anyway, it's a really interesting conversation and very powerful. Okay, that's my review for today. Be sure and click down below, click on that link and watch this movie. I think you'll learn a lot about history and you'll be inspired and have some great things to talk about with your family. All right, that's it. Thank you. Bye for now.